Krishna, Rama, reading from the Ramayana. It's a condensed version, but captures the pastimes nicely and is fairly easy to read. This is chapter 4. Rama leaves home. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hare Krishna. So up to this point, we've been hearing, among other things, about the sage Vishvamrita and what a wild character he is. Very, very powerful. And so powerfully even at one point, because of his strong determination, he tried to create a whole new universe with all new demigods and planets and everything. He was like that. He was very strong and determined if he got going on something. And especially if someone kind of like ticked him off, you know. He would go to there was no limit to how far he would go to one up, basically. So this character, Vishvamrita, he's now has a title of most powerful type of human being in all the universes, a Brahma Rishi. Very, very powerful. He's performed so many austerities. It's interesting, his name's Vishvamrita, and that he has some of the qualities of Lord Shiva, in that Lord Shiva is easily angered and also easily pleased. And this Brahma Rishi, Vishvamrita, also had that same temperament. He was easily angered, and he could, who knows what he could do. There was no limit to what he could do if he was really angry. And he was easily angered or easily pleased. And then he would go to extremes to try to reciprocate if he was pleased with someone. So he has, this sage has suddenly arrived at Dasharatha's court. Unannounced. Here he is. Hello. So look, chapter 4, Rama leaves home. King Dasharatha received Vishvamrita as Indra would welcome Brahma. And touching his feet, the king said, I am indeed blessed among men. Your coming can only be due to the merit of my ancestors. Like the morning sun that dispels the darkness of night, your face brings joy to my sight. My heart is full. Born a king, you have become, through tapas, a Brahma Rishi. And you yourself have come seeking my dwelling. Is there anything in my power that I can do for you? If so, command, and I shall obey. Vishvamrita was rejoiced to hear these words of Dasharatha, and his face brightened. He said, O king, your words are worthy of you. Born in the Ikshvaku line with Vashishta for your guru, what else could you say? You have said yes before I asked. This fills my heart with joy. And he suddenly explained the purpose of his visit. Vishvamrita said, I am engaged in performing a sacrifice. As it nears completion, two powerful Rakshasas, Maricha and Subahu defile it. They shower unclean blood and flesh on the sacred fire. Like other rishis, we could curse and destroy them, but that would be a waste of our tapas. So when these really powerful tapasvis and sages that have performed a lot of austerities curse someone, it's very effective, but they're drained of their tapas and they have to go and do some more austerities to get some more tapas. It's like a bank account. So they become bankrupt by spending it on this. So he doesn't want to do that. Our troubles would end if you send with me Ram, the eldest of your warlike sons. Under my care, he will grow in princely stature. He will surely defeat these Rakshasas, and his name will gather luster. Entrust Ram to my care only for a few days. Do not refuse my request. Fulfill the promise you gave me unsought. Of Ram's safety, you need have no anxiety. You will earn undying fame in the three worlds. Vashishta and your ministers agree with what I say. So we see Dasarath, he tends to make promises that, oh boy, he kind of maybe thought he didn't want to, but he made a promise. So he does that later again. Dasarath trembled with fear and anxiety. He had a hard choice to make, either to give his well-beloved son to be killed by Rakshasas, or himself incur the terrible anger of Vishvamrita. For a few moments, Dasarath stood speechless, but he was stunned and bewildered. But, recovering from the shock, he begged the sage not to press his demand and said, Ram is not yet fully 16 years of age. How can he fight with Rakshasas? Of what use is it to send him with you? What does he know of the wiles of Rakshasas? It's not right that I should send a mere lad to fight them. I am here. My army is ready to march. How can a lad protect you and your yagna? Tell me all about your foes. I shall go with you at the head of my army and do your bidding and serve your need. But tell me about these desecrators. Vishvamrita described Maricha and Subahu and Ravana, their master, and he demanded again that Ram should be sent along with him. Datharas persisted in refusal. Parting from Ram will be death to me, he said. I shall go with you, I and my army. Why, it seems to me the task proposed is petty, even for me. How then can my son cope with it? Why, it seems to me the task proposed is pretty hard for me, even for me. Okay, so he sees it's a difficult thing, even for him, the big king with the army. How then can my son, who's not even 16 yet, cope with it? Indeed, I cannot send him. If you please, I'm ready with my army. Datharat's attempt to go back on his hasty words enraged Vishvamrita. The king's pleas and reasons were like oil poured on the fire of his anger. This conduct is unworthy of your lineage, the sage said. Tell me if this is your final word. I shall go back the way I came. Long may you live with your kith and kin, having swerved from the path of truth. The earth quaked. The gods were afraid of the possible consequences of the sage's wrath. Vashishta now turned to the king and spoke gently. It ill becomes you, king, to refuse, having promised once. Born in the Ikshvaku line, you cannot do it. Having once said, I will do, you have no option but to do it. Failing, you will lose the merit of all your great gifts and deeds. Send Ram with the sage. Send Lakshman too. You need have no fear for their safety. When they are protected by Vishvamrita, no Rakshasa can hurt them. As the drink of the gods, shielded by the wield of fire, so will Ram be by Vishvamrita. You have no idea of Vishvamrita's power. He is a tapas in human form, bravest of the brave, wisest of the wise. He's master of every weapon. In the three worlds there is not, and there will never be, any to equal him in martial or spiritual prowess. When he was a king, he obtained from the gods mastery of all weapons. He beholds the past, the present, and the future. Then why does he want the princes, you may wonder? He can well take care of himself for his yajna. But it is for the good of your sons that he has come here, and appears to seek your help. Do not hesitate. Send your sons with him. Listening to the wise Vashishta, Dasara saw things clearly and made up his mind to send Ram and Lakshman. The two princes were then brought to the presence of the sage. The king, the queen mothers, and Vashishta blessed them and sent them with Vishvamrita. A pleasant breeze wafted, and flowers were strewn by the denizens of heaven. Auspicious sounds were heard. Bow in hand, the two lads strode proudly on either side of the sage. Valmiki and Kamban reveal in this picture of the two handsome princes marching out to their first adventure under the guardianship of a great rishi who had also been a renowned warrior, a teacher who would create a new world, who could create a new world. And beside him, head erect, two princely pupils born to end the Rakshasas. With swords of victory hanging from their waists, bows and quivers mounted on strong shoulders, they moved, each with a three-headed cobra, each like a three-headed cobra with uplifted hood. Hey Krishna. Krishna. Bet you can't do just one. Oh, the next one's a long one though. Wow. Hare Krishna. Yeah, but how can you do? Well, I don't know. Maybe I will. I'll just stop there. The next one's really long, and I have more rounds to chant. The next one called Ram Slays the Monsters. Hare Krishna.